Title: Defining Her Own Chapter. Subhead: From the armpit of California to IFBB Pro, single teen mom to mentor and future dietitian, Desiree Alferes is proving you can choose how your story defines you. Story by Dennis J. Henderson. Social magazine based on an episode of Max Muscle presents the Invest podcast with host Johnny Invest, filmed and edited in collaboration with Social magazine. Johnny Invest knew there was more to her before they ever sat down in front of a microphone. He had seen her in gyms and at shows over the years, grinding through prep, always composed, always focused. Even before she earned her IFBB Pro card, Johnny says he could tell by the way she carried herself that she was different. He did not know the details yet, but he knew there was a story behind the discipline. When Desiree Alferes finally walked into the studio for the Invest podcast, it was gray outside and bright inside. Within minutes, the conversation went from bodybuilding to survival, from stage lights to ICU lights, from chasing trophies to breaking generational patterns. This is not just a fitness story. This is a decide who you're going to be story. From desert hot springs to I'm out. Desiree grew up in Desert Hot Springs, a small city outside Palm Springs that she jokingly calls the armpit of California. It was not a glamorous backdrop. Both parents were addicts. Her dad left when she was 3. Her mom was in and out of prison. At 12 years old, Desiree watched her mom overdose. She performed CPR herself, kept her heart beating until the ambulance arrived, then watched her mom fight for 4 days in ICU. The day her mom came home and immediately started using again, Desiree made a decision. I said, "Come get me. I'm not going to be here when she dies." She moved in with her little sister's father under 4 simple rules. No boys in the house. No lying. No stealing. Do good in school. Desiree agreed on the spot. School became her escape. She joined sports, student body, anything to avoid being home. She was MVP on the track team as a sophomore and qualified for state. That drive became a habit. If she committed to something, she went 0 to 100. At 18, she left Southern California and moved north for college at UC Davis. She moved in with her long-distance boyfriend and quickly realized she did not like who he really was. By the time she admitted that to herself, she was pregnant. Desiree had her son 2 weeks after her 19th birthday. She refused to let that be the end of her plans. She worked 2 jobs, stayed in school, and left her son's father when the baby was 19 months old. I was not going to run, she explains. Running back to the desert meant falling into the same world she had fought to escape. She chose a different direction. Her son became the anchor for that choice. She promised herself he would never question if he was loved. He would never feel the void she felt as a child. Every hustle, every class, every early morning and late night was built around that promise. Letting the past define you the right way. On the podcast, Johnny asked her about not letting her past define her. Desiree pushed back just enough to tell the truth. Your past will always define you, she says. It is how you allow it to define you. She does not pretend her history disappeared. Failed relationships, childhood trauma, and hard chapters are still part of her story. The difference is what she does with them. Each chapter is a lesson, not a prison. You cannot erase the past, she says. You learn from it, you grow from it, and that next chapter is better. From Spartan races to IFBB Pro. Bodybuilding was not the plan at first. Desiree was running Spartan races and realized she had almost no upper body strength. She still finished her first race in the top 30 overall, but she knew she could do better. If she could conquer the upper body obstacles, she could shave minutes off her time and chase the top 10. That goal pulled her into the weight room. As her physique changed, people at the gym started asking her if she was getting ready for a show. At the time, she still pictured bodybuilding women as the extreme physiques from old magazines. Then someone showed her Dana Lynn Bailey and Nicole Wilkins. She saw something different, something closer to her own frame. She tried her first show with a crash diet and 2 posing sessions. She stepped on stage and knew instantly she wanted more. Governor's Cup 2015 was her first real prep. She brought in a team. Joe trained her legs. Ryan gave her a binder full of education on prep. Hala built her diet. She qualified for nationals, then spent 4 years knocking on the door of a pro card, placing third over and over while the top 2 spots earned IFBB status. She admits that backstage after another close call, she finally felt like quitting. That is when IFBB Pro Latoya Watts walked up and changed everything with one sentence. "You look like a pro on an amateur stage. Do not quit. Go again." 6 weeks later, at the first ever Amateur Olympia, Desiree earned her IFBB Pro card. The next day at the meet and greet, she walked the room in shock as fans asked to take pictures with her. She was still in line getting autographs from the pros, but now she was one of them. She has not closed the loop by stepping on the Olympia stage yet, but that is the goal. She has been top 3, top 5 in points, and she is back in the off-season now, building what she needs to make the next push. "I am in an off-season focusing on growing my posterior chain from top to bottom," she says. "Next year I want to be more balanced front to back. The dream is to be on the Olympia stage. That stage gives me a larger platform to reach more people who need to hear a story of strength and survival, and to have the courage to be the black sheep." Energy, rest, and letting the inner child breathe. From the outside, it looks like Desiree never stops moving. She trains clients at 4 a.m., works a full-time corporate job, coaches athletes, and still trains as a pro. But behind the grind is a very intentional relationship with rest and energy. "I listen to my body," she says. "When I need a rest day, I take it and I do not feel guilty." She believes women especially need to stay in tune with their bodies and their minds. For one person, that might look like meditation. For another, it might be cardio. Whatever helps you find peace, she says, you have to own it. When she feels mentally burned out, music is her reset. She sings and dances alone, lets her inner child breathe, and lets go. Hot showers and baths are another safe place. Sometimes that means letting herself cry and letting the water wash away her tears. "More recently, I have really learned how to truly connect with myself through meditation," she says. "It is strengthening me to a level I never imagined." Food, science, and the next chapter. Desiree does not see bodybuilding as an endgame. It is one chapter in a longer book. Outside of the gym and stage, she is back in the classroom, working on prerequisites for a master's program. Her next goal is to become a registered dietitian. She wants to help more than competitors. She wants to work with people who need to lose weight for surgery, families who need a reset, and everyday people who have been misled about food their entire life. "Food is your body's fuel," she says. "People think they need to cut everything. Most people actually need to eat more, not less. They need to fix their relationship with food." Her plan is to mix formal education with lived experience in the industry, and then carry that into speaking, coaching, and youth work. She is already looking at juvenile halls and high schools, especially for students who grew up like she did, standing on the fence trying to decide which way to fall. Coach, judge, and community builder. Desiree already coaches online and in person, working with men and women on nutrition, training programs, and mindset. She does free posing seminars with other pros, not as a marketing tactic, but as a way to give back to the community that poured into her. "When I see other people smile, that fills my cup," she says. Long term, she does not see herself leaving the sport when she is done competing. She sees herself on the judging panel as an NPC and IFBB judge, helping shape the next generation from the other side of the table. She lights up when she talks about the backstage energy on show day. For her, it is not just about medals. "The funnest part about competing is the community backstage," she says. "The camaraderie, the friendships all over the world. On that stage, it does not matter where you come from or what you faced. The only thing that matters is the work and effort you put in to get there." Choosing how the story ends. From desert hot springs to Sacramento, from a 12-year-old doing CPR on her mother to a 19-year-old single mom finishing college, from Spartan races to IFBB Pro, Desiree Alferes has lived chapters that could have broken her. She chose to let them build her instead. Her past still defines her, but on her terms. As a mother, coach, athlete, future dietitian, and soon, if she has her way, a judge and youth mentor, she is rewriting what that definition looks like. The stage is just one part of it. The real legacy is who she is trying to reach when the lights turn off.